for tomorrow. Now, I'm using Microsoft Excel 2019, so anything I do here with you tonight will be exactly the same on from 2007, 10, 13, 16, 19 and 365. If there is any variation, I will state the variation. Is that all right? All okay with that? Now, I'm on the first little exercise here, the first sheet of the workbook, and I have renamed the sheet Exercise 1. Now, before I start anything, I want to just simply run over a few terms and a few of the areas of the screen so that you know exactly what I'm talking about. As with all Microsoft Office applications, we have the ribbon area, this whole area up here. Now, on the ribbon area, you have what's called tabs. So you have your Home tab, the Insert tab, Page Layout, Formulas, etc., etc. That okay? Now, above the ribbon area, we have what's called our Quick Access Toolbar. Can you all identify what I'm pointing to? Yeah? This is your Quick Access Toolbar. Now, when you get your application or your program, you will have 3 commands up here on the Quick Access Toolbar. Oh, bear with me, over a wee latecomer. Okay. Hi Tracy, you're very welcome. We're just making a wee start here, if that's okay. So we have our Quick Access Toolbar. As I say, when you get your program at the very start, you'll only ever have your save, your undo and your redo there. Now, one of the first things I'll always do with a new program or new computer, I'll add other tools up there that I'm going to use on a daily basis. Now, you'll notice a little down arrow to the right of the Quick Access Toolbar. So if we click on that little down arrow, that will give us a list of commonly used commands that we would use on a daily basis. Now, all those ones with the tick are ones that I would have brought over. So you simply click on whichever one that you want to bring over. Now, save, undo and redo will already be ticked by default. The likes of new, open, email, quick print, print preview, they will not be up there. So I would strongly recommend you bring those up there on your own application. In terms of any of you that use your work email like Microsoft Outlook, really, really good to bring up the email command there, because if you're working on a spreadsheet and you want to email that open spreadsheet, you can simply click on the email command, which is, I'll just show you it up on the Quick Access Toolbar here. You click on the email command, that will bring up your Microsoft Outlook, your program, and it will attach the opened spreadsheet to your email. Brilliant, really, really useful. A lot of people waste time going looking for things and say, oh, where did I save that to? So that's your Quick Access Toolbar. Now, we talked about the ribbon, we've talked about tabs. Within each tab, you have what's called groups. So the very first group you have in the Home tab is the clipboard group, font group, alignment group, number, styles, etc., etc. Folks, I know I'm going back to basics here, but it's just to make sure everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. At the bottom right of most of the groups, but not all of the groups, you have little arrows. Now, those little arrows are known as dialogue launchers, and they simply launch a dialogue or an old window that we would be used to in the older versions. So that's your dialogue launcher. Now, we have columns identified by the letters of the alphabet. We have rows identified by numbers, and each of those little boxes is called a cell. So for example, the cell containing the word north is named A1. Now if we look directly above column A, we have what's called a name box, and that indicates what name or the name of the cell that I'm currently in. So if I clicked another cell, I'm currently in B6. If we look up in the name box, that tells us what cell that we're currently in. Now, to the right of the name box, we have our formula bar. Now, when you do calculations or perform calculations or use functions, your result will appear in the actual cell, but any calculations or formulas will appear in the formula bar. So we'll look at that more in depth later. So, first thing I want you to have a look at or to identify is the difference in the alignment for text data and numeric data. The headings north, south, east and west are all text, so they'll automatically default to the left of the cell. Numeric data will automatically default to the right of the cell. Now, I'm just going to click in a cell here and I'm going to change one of the figures here. So if I do, for example, this, notice that the figure is appearing to the left of the cell, and that's simply because I have added an O instead of a 0. So if you have one text character, it will automatically read everything as being text. So I'm just going to undo that. I'm using the shortcut for undo, which is Control and Z. That okay? Now, what I'm then going to do, or now going to do, is to highlight all my numeric data, and I want to format my numeric data so that I have like a currency symbol and 2 decimal places after it. Now, I'm going to draw your attention here to the number group. On the bottom row of the number group, you have like a little symbol. I always say it's like a wee stash of gold coins. If I click on that little symbol, it's actually the accounting number format. Notice how my data, numeric data, has been formatted with the currency symbol and 2 decimal places after it. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the figure in cell A3. Let's say I've accidentally typed it in wrong. Let's say it should have been £25.69. So I'm just going to overtype here. Okay, press the enter key. Now, can you notice that the pound sign will remain to the left and all the pound signs all are directly under each other? Now, when I'm out in business, I find a lot of people that work in finance or in accounts, they don't like that format that I've applied, simply because if you have a large number of digits, it's harder to read with all the pound signs directly under each other. So what we're going to do now, we're going to highlight all the numeric data. Now, if I look up in the number group here, now this is your little number format box. Now that tells me the formatting of the data that I've highlighted is accounting. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click on the down arrow and I'm going to change to currency. Now, when I do this, watch where the pound sign will appear now. See the pound signs all tight to the figures? Now, as I say, a lot of people in accounts and finance, they much prefer that format because where you have large number of digits, they're easier to read. That okay? So that's the currency format. So that's just from the number format box. So there are other formatting options that you have there, and we'll look at some of those later. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go in and do our first calculation here. So I'm going to bring this figure back to what it was. So 2569 and press the enter key. Now, we're going to do our first calculation to add up all the figures for the North region. Now, I'm going to use the most frequently used function in Excel, and that's the auto sum. Now, if you look over on the right-hand side here, can you all see the auto sum button? It's like a back to front E, or if you're from Dungannon, it'll probably say it's a drunken M, as some people say, but we'll use that. So I'm going to click on the auto sum button. Now, notice that I was in a blank cell before I started. Chose the auto sum, and auto sum will highlight any data or any figures that are immediately adjacent to the blank cells. Now, to see the result, to see the answer, simply press the enter key. So that has added up all the figures for the North region. Now, we're going to use the most commonly used tool in Excel, and that's known as your fill handle. Now, I need to go back into the cell containing the formula. Now, remember I mentioned that in your formula bar, you will see a formula, but in the actual cell, you will see the result. Do you see that? Now, can you notice at the bottom right-hand corner of the cell that contains my formula, there's a little square. If I bring my pointer on that little square, my pointer changes from a thick cross to a little thin cross. That thin cross, that's your best friend. That's your fill handle, F-I-L-L, okay? So that's your fill handle. When you get your little thin cross, your fill handle, you click, hold your mouse button down and drag to copy the formula across so that we don't have to manually repeat for each column. You only have to do one formula, use the fill handle to fill across. Is that okay? Now, I'm going to move on to the next sheet, exercise 2. Now, what we have here, we have 3 labels. We have gross, VAT, and net, and one figure of 100. Now, I'm going to click in that cell containing the 100. And remember we went to the number group earlier and hit the wee slash gold coins. Well, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to hit the wee slash gold coins, and that will format my 100. So when I go to perform a calculation, my results will appear already formatted. Now, I'm going to go into cell B2, okay, just directly above the 100. I have the net figure. I want to calculate the VAT based on the net figure. So to tell Excel that you're about to perform a calculation, we key in the equal sign. So your equal sign. Now, what I want you all to do, I want you to imagine you have a calculator in your hand. Now, what would you type into the calculator right now? Be the 100, wouldn't it? We only have one figure. So in Excel, rather than using the physical number, we key in or click in the cell containing the number. So I'm going to click in the cell containing the 100. Now the cell reference will appear beside the equal sign. So to calculate the VAT, we're going to take the net and we're going to multiply it by the VAT rate, which is currently 20%. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to take somebody else in here. Sorry, Laura. Welcome. Okay, so I have clicked in the cell containing the 100. So it has brought in the reference B3. So the next thing I'm going to do, as you would in a calculator, you type in the multiplication sign. I'm going to do exactly the same thing in Excel. So the multiplication sign in Excel is your little star, your little asterisk. So that's B3 multiplied by, and I'm simply going to type in 20%. Exactly as you would do in a calculator. Now, to see the result, I'm simply going to press my enter key. So it has calculated my VAT figure for me based on the net of 100. Now I'm going to click into cell B1 and I'm going to calculate the gross amount, which is simply adding the net and the VAT together. Now, to tell Excel you're about to do a calculation, we key in our equal sign. Now, if I have my calculator in my hand, I'll click in the first figure, which is my net figure. So I would type in 100. On my calculator, I would then say plus, and I'm going to do exactly the same in Excel. So I'm going to say plus, and I'm clicking in the cell containing the 20. So it's B3 plus B2, and I'm going to press the Enter key to display my answer. Now, so why does Excel use a cell reference rather than the actual figure themselves? Well, we'll demonstrate this in that we'll go back into cell B3 where we have our 100. Let's say my net figure changes to 250. So I'm going over type in 250 and press the Enter key. Watch how my VAT is updated automatically and my gross is updated automatically. That is the beauty and the benefit of using Microsoft Excel. Happy enough with that one, folks? Brilliant. I'm going to move on to exercise 3. Now, folks, don't panic. This is being recorded, so you can run this over at your own pace again, and you'll have these exercises. I'll email all to you as well, so that you can go through them at your own pace. Now, like earlier, I'm going to highlight my 2 figures, and I'm going to format to accounting when we stash gold coins. Now, this time, we're doing it sort of ass about face here. We've got the gross, we've got the VAT, so we want to calculate the net. So I'm about to do a calculation, so the first thing I will key in is what? Shout at me. I can't hear you, but shout at me. Your equal sign, is that okay? So equal. So I'm going to say the gross figure, then your plus, and the VAT figure. Press the Enter key to display your answers. Okay, happy enough with that one? Right, I'm going to move on. Now, we're going to do a calculation here where we're going to multiply. Now, again, before I do anything, I'm going to format all my rates using the little stash of gold coins to accounting. Now, I'm going to go into cell D2 and we're going to do our very first calculation. Folks, I would always say using Excel, keep it simple. I am dealing with people and going out dealing with people on a daily basis using Microsoft Excel, and people are overcomplicating things. Instead of doing a straightforward adding, multiplication or dividing, there's a tendency for people to use equal sum open brackets. Sum means add. If you're not adding, don't use it. It drives me mad when I see that equal sum open bracket when you're multiplying or dividing or subtracting. So keep things simple. Right, now in this little exercise we're going to calculate the gross pay or the total pay for these guys based on the their hours multiplied by their hourly rate. So again, first thing we type in is what? Equals. Okay. Now, I'm going to click in the cell containing the first guy's hours. I'm then going to say multiply by, and I'm going to click in his rate. So it's B2 multiplied by C2. Press the Enter key to display the answer. Now, I'm not manually going to do that for every employee or every person. Do you remember our best friend, the fill handle? I'm going to use my fill handle. Always go back into the cell containing the formula, because this is what people do. I'll just show you. People end up going into a blank cell and then try using their fill handle and think, what's happened? Why has that not worked? Always go back into the cell containing the formula and use the fill handle to fill down. That okay? Brilliant. We're going to move on. God, you're all flying. Okay, so exercise 5. Now, this is a straightforward divide by. So again, I'm highlighting all the gross figures, and I'm going to click on my little stash of gold coins. Now, this is their gross pay for 12 months. I want to find out the monthly pay. So again, I'm about to do a calculation. So I'm going to say equals, select the first gross figure. I'm then going to use my divide by, which is your slash, and I'm going to say 12. And I'm going to press my enter key to display the answer. Again, go back in. Remember fill. We'll use our fill handle to fill down. Okay with that? Now, if I hadn't formatted my figures, these monthly pays, you'd end up with 0.333. So that's another reason for formatting before you would do your actual calculations. So I'm going to move on to exercise 6 here. Now, this is a little exercise. This is a little weekly budget exercise. Right, now, if we click in cell A1, where we have the heading, weekly budget, notice on my formula bar, the words weekly budget are all in that one cell. Do you see? It looks as if weekly budget is run across A1 and B1, but the formula bar tells me no, it's not. Everything is in cell A1. Now, I can do one of two things here. I can widen my column so that my weekly budget will fit. So to widen the column, folks, I'm not going to drag. People end up dragging. You've no need to drag. Bring your pointer up between A and B. Instead of dragging, use your double click. I'll do that again. Okay. So if I bring the pointer right up between A and B, the letters, and double click, that applies what's called Autofit, and that will automatically adjust the width of that column to the widest piece of text within that column. Or if you have, for example, a column full of, or say with 3 characters in it, it will reduce the width of the column just so that 3 characters will fit. Now, on this occasion, I'm going to undo that. I'm going to use the shortcut Control and Z just to undo. So rather than widening that column, I'm going to apply the alignment option wrap text that will place my weekly budget heading on 2 separate lines within the one cell. So let's click on wrap text. See? Now that's really useful, folks. If you have a number of headings and you maybe have 2 or 3 words in each heading, it's probably handier doing a wrap text so that you're not widening all your columns. Now, the other thing I have here, I have a label, week 1. Now, I want to have week 2, week 3, and week 4 in here as well. Now, I'm not going to manually type in week 2, week 3, week 4. I'm going to go back into the cell containing week 1. Do you remember your best friend, Phil? Okay, let's take Phil, hold your mouse button down, and drag 3 cells to the right. Notice how your headings are repeated there. Now, one of the questions that I'm asked quite a bit of the time, and people say to me, Tricia, I try and copy a number and, you know, run numbers in sequence and it doesn't work for me. So if you just look down below in cell, I'm going to type in cell B10, I'm going to type the figure 1 in there and press the enter key. Now, if I want to copy, say, 1 and increment that to 2, 3, 4. Now, if I use my fill handle at this stage, what happens? Do you notice it has just copied the number? Now, so what's different from this and this is the text in front of it. The text sets a different pattern, okay? Now, if I want, I'm just going to undo this a wee second, Control and Z. So if I want my numbers to run or increment, I'm going to type 1 and the next cell over I'm going to do 2. So I need to show Excel the pattern that I want to use here. So I'm going to highlight both those figures. Do you see that? Now, do you notice when you're highlighting more than one cell, the first cell never darkens down? Now, I'm going to use fill again, but it's from the second cell. Both are highlighted. So I'm using the fill handle and I'm copying 2 cells to the right. Do you see that? Now, that sequence could have been 5 and 10. And if I highlighted both of those, use my fill handle, do you see the way it follows the pattern that you set? Now, I'm going to show you a different one. I'm going to contradict myself here. So if we put in today's date, so 2nd of the 4th, 2020. Now, if I use my fill handle there, now don't worry about those hashes. Those hashes simply mean my column is not wide enough to display my data. Now, remember we did a double click earlier between columns A and B? Right, I'm going to do a double click between C and D, D and E, A and F. Do you see the way it adjusts the width? Now, the pattern there that I used, I typed 1 date in, I used the fill handle, and it incremented my dates by 1. So do you see the difference in the pattern? That okay? So I'm going to delete these. Actually, I'm going to highlight the rows and delete the rows. Now, so happy enough so far? Now, we're going to highlight all our figures here. And again, like earlier, if we hit the wee stash of gold coins, just to format all our figures. Now, I'm going to go into cell B8. I want to calculate all the figures in week 1. So what am I going to use? Who's saying equals? No, we don't need the equal sign in this case. Because we're using auto sum, we don't need the equal sign. Okay, auto sum is a function. It's like a preset formula, and it will put the equal sign in for us. So I'm going to go straight to my auto sum. Notice it highlights my range, and if that's the correct range that I want to use, I'm simply going to press my enter key, and it has added up all the figures for week 1. I'm going to go back in where I've got my total for week 1, and I'm going to use my fill handle, and I'm going to copy the formula to add up all the figures for week 2, week 3, and week 4. All right. Now, we're going to develop this one a wee bit more. So I have headings here, week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. To the right of that, I'm going to put another heading in here, and I'm going to call this heading net. Now, I want to find the net cost of electricity for all 4 weeks. So what am I going to use? Auto sum, aren't I? No equal sign, straightforward auto sum, because I'm adding a range of cells. So I'm going to go up to auto sum. My figures are highlighted, my range is highlighted. That's the correct range I want to use. So I'm going to press my enter key. I'm going to go back into the cell where I have my first net figure. I'm going to use my fill handle, and I'm going to fill down. I'm going to put another heading in here to the right of net. and I'm going to type in the old dreaded VAT and press the enter key. Now, I want to calculate the VAT on the net figure. Now, this time I am doing a manual calculation. I'm not using AutoSum, so I do need to use my equal sign. So, equals, I'm going to choose the first net figure, multiplied by, and I'm going to type in 20%. So it'll be equal F3 multiplied by 20%. Press the enter key, and the first VAT has been calculated. I'm going to go in where I have my first formula, and I'm going to use my fill handle to fill down. Now, I have a heading here, net VAT. I'm going to put another heading in. I'm going to type the word total. Now, I want to find the total simply by adding the net and VAT together. Now, you'd never dream of using the AutoSum when you're simply adding two cells together. You would use equal your first cell plus your second cell, okay? So equal the first net figure plus the first VAT figure. Press the enter key. I'm going to go back in where I have my first total, and I'm going to use my fill handle to copy the formula down. All okay? Right, I'm going to look at my data as it stands at the minute. So I'm going to do a print preview. Now, I have brought print preview command up onto the quick access toolbar. It's like a little page with a magnifying glass on it. So I'm going to click on the print preview. Now, we'll see a preview of my spreadsheet. Do you all notice there's no grid lines on it? Okay, there's no lines. Now, I'm just going to press the escape key to take me out of my print preview, just back into my normal view. Now, I'm not going to manually draw a border around my data here. I want to apply a setting so that if I add any more data in, grid lines will appear automatically. So I'm going to go to the page layout tab, and over in the sheet options group, do you see under the heading grid lines, there's a little box where it says print, and there's no check in it yet. I'm going to put a wee check in that print box. Now, I'm going to do a print preview again. Okay, what do you notice? See the grid lines? They're there automatically. Now, if I add any more data in that spreadsheet, grid lines will appear automatically. I would tend to use that rather than creating or drawing borders. So if I go back to the Home tab, okay, there's your borders command that you can apply. But if you physically add a border, you have to remember, as you add more data, you're going to have to physically go back in and add your borders again, which you really don't want to have to do. So that's useful. That was page layout, sheet options, under the heading grid lines, and place a little tick in the print box. Happy enough for that? Now, that will only apply grid lines to the one sheet that we're in. Can you imagine you have about 40 sheets along the bottom, and you've just realized, oh drat, I forgot my grid lines in all of the sheets. Now, I'm not going to manually go in and do that for every single sheet. So a wee shortcut, you love this, folks. If you right click, you see down at the bottom, I'm on exercise 6 here. Doesn't matter which of the sheet tabs I'm going to right click on. This is the one I'm currently in, so I'll use it. Right click on the sheet tab at the bottom. See the option at the bottom where it says select all sheets? So now before I do that, I want to prove to you that there's no grid lines in any of the rest of the sheets. So I'm going to go back to, say, exercise 4. I'll do a print preview. No grid lines, would you agree? There's currently no grid lines, okay? So again, it doesn't matter what sheet I do this in. Right click, select all sheets. Now, do you notice they've changed color at the bottom? Sort of turned white, and the actual tab name is bold. That means they're all what's called grouped. So whatever I do in one sheet will automatically happen in all of the sheets. So from my page layout tab, I'm going to go over to my grid lines option, and I'm going to put a little tick. I'm actually going to put a tick in the print box. I'm going to put it in, tick it out again, and put it back in again, simply because, and this is going to freeze on me by doing that, but I'll do it anyhow. Bear with me. Yep. Right. The only reason I literally put it in, took it out again, is because I already had it on in one of the sheets. Okay. Now, when I click on any one of the sheet tabs at the bottom, that will ungroup them. That will make them independent again. So I'm going to click, say, on exercise 2. I'm going to do a print preview. What do you notice? Your grid lines. Okay. So that's really, really handy. A good, useful wee shortcut. And again, I'm pressing the escape key to come out of my print preview. Right, I'm going back to, where was it? The weekly exercise, weekly budget exercise, which is exercise 6. Now, a little shortcut, folks. Let's say I went into your place of work and you said to me, look, Patricia, look at our spreadsheets and see if they can be improved, or see if we're doing anything wrong. Now, the first thing I will do, I will go in and I will display all the formulas that are used in the spreadsheet. Now, on your keyboard, you have a button to the left of the number 1 key at the top of the keyboard. It's your grave accent key. Now, I always said it's completely useless. You would use it for nothing. I said that in front of a French teacher one day and I got told off. She said, I use that all the time. But anyhow, I've never used it before Excel. So it's the grave accent key. It's to the left of number 1 at the top of the keyboard. Now, if I hold my control key down and then press that grave accent key, in fact, I've renamed it for Microsoft. I'm very good that way. I call it the toggle key. Okay, so that's control and toggle. Now watch what happens. Do you see? Your formulas are displayed. Do you see that? Now, see when you have your formulas displayed. So if I went in and you were working on a spreadsheet and you're thinking, is my spreadsheet all right, or should I be doing something else with it? Now, if I display the formulas just like we have done here, now, and if I see something like this, okay, this is what I call the Joe Bloggs syndrome. This is Joe Bloggs that works in the organization, hasn't a clue what he's doing, uses a calculator, manually types the figure into a spreadsheet and bosses everybody's spreadsheets up, and the formulas don't update. So do you notice my 100, my manual 100? That's what Joe Bloggs would do. He'd manually type something in where there should be a formula. So when you display your formulas, and if you see something unusual like that, you sort of, alarm bells go and think, are you sure that should be there? Should it be a formula? So I would just go back into the cell containing the formula, and if I'm sure that the formula should have been carried down, I would just physically drag it down using the fill handle again. Is that okay? So I'm going to hide my formulas again. Control and toggle, hides them. Control toggle, displays. Control toggle, you see how easy it is? So that's my formulas. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to move on to the next wee exercise. Now, you'll notice that I have headings in here, and my headings are sort of hidden. So I'll need to either widen my columns or apply my wrap text. Do you remember wrap text where we applied weekly budget, one cell or one word on top of the other? I'm going back to my home tab. I'm going to highlight the row containing my headings, which is row 1. From the alignment group, I'm going to choose wrap text. Is that okay? See the way it tidies them all up and puts them on multiple lines here? Right, I'm going to do recalculation here. So again, like before, I'm going to highlight all my figures from the number group, hit my restash of gold coins. Okay, now I'm going to go into column C, and we're going to calculate discount based on the basic price. So the calculation here is really the basic price multiplied by 10%. Okay, so as we all know now, we're about to do a calculation, so we're going to key in our equal sign. Okay, I'm going to click in the first basic price. I'm going to multiply by, and I'm going to type in 10%. So that's equal B2 multiplied by 10%. Press the enter key. Now, I'm going to go back in. If you remember your fill handle, right, now we're going to cheat a wee bit here with the fill handle. I'm going to bring my fill handle up, the wee thin cross, but instead of me physically dragging my fill handle down, I'm going to double click with my fill handle and watch what happens. You see? Now that's brilliant. If you have, let's say you have about 1,000 records and you're using your fill handle to physically drag down, okay, you're sort of thinking, oh God, where's this going to end? By doing your double click, it will go down to the very end of the data. Now, this will only work providing there is no blanks in the data. So if you have a blank cell, for example, let's say that one, the 30, it would have stopped at that point and you would have had to physically drag it down. But where there's no blanks, that's the quickest and easiest way. Do your double click. Now, the sale price straightforward calculation will be the basic price minus the discount. So again, equals my first basic price minus the discount that I've already calculated. So it's B2 minus C2. Press the enter key. Go back in, and I'm going to use my double click with my fill handle again. Now, there's the old hashes where people think, oh God, have I done something wrong? You haven't done anything wrong. Go up between your columns, D and E, double click, and that will widen to display your data. We're going to calculate the VAT, okay, and that's literally just taking the sale price multiplied by the VAT rate of 20%. So we're about to do a calculation equal D2 multiplied by 20%. Press the enter key. Go back in, we've got your first VAT figure. Double click to bring down. Selling price is simply sale price plus VAT. So equal sale price plus VAT. So it's D2 plus C2. Press the enter key. I'm going to go back in cell F2 and I'm going to use my double click. There's my old dreaded hashes again. Go up between F and G and double click to widen. Okay, right folks, I'm going to go back to one of these wee exercises, if I can remember which one, this one here. Right, for any of you that are already using spreadsheets in your work or home or whatever, I'm going to introduce you to a really good tool called the table. And formatting is really basically formatting your data as a table. And I'm going to show you the benefits of why you would do this. It's really, really good. Now, on the spreadsheet, I have 4 people. So let's say I forgot somebody. So I forgot Anne. And I want to put Anne in between Sally and Norman. So we're highlighting row 4 to put a new row between 3 and 4. Now, I literally mean click on the actual row number. Now, I'll show you why I do that. Some people do this, okay? They'll highlight their data, they'll right click, they'll go to insert, and they'll get these options up and they'll scratch their head and they'll say, which one do I use? Okay? So that's why I don't use that. I always click on the actual number when I'm adding a new row. Right click. Now when I choose insert, it doesn't ask me any questions. So I'm going to put Anne in here. And Anne works 40 hours. And Anne's rate is $8.95. Now, to get Anne's total here, I need to go back in to the previous total and use my fill handle to copy down. That okay? So that's what you would do in a normal situation. So I'm going to do Control and Z to undo, Control and Z, Control and Z, Control and Z, Control and Z. That's just to reverse all those actions I've taken. Now, those of you that are using spreadsheets at the minute will love this. So I'm going to format my data as a table. Now, all you have to do is to make sure that you're in any one cell within your data. Okay? You don't even have to have it all highlighted. We're going to go to the Insert tab, please. Go to Table. See the Table option? Notice that your range is highlighted. And in the little tick box here, it says, my table has headers. So I'm going to OK that. Now, that will format my table. So it's already looking better. If you have a fairly big spreadsheet, it's easier to read because we have colored banded rows. We have what's called filter arrows on the headings. So for example, if I only want to see one employee, I would click on that filter arrow to the right of the word name. I would remove the tick where it says select all, and I would choose, say, Norman, and OK that. So that will just display Normans. Okay, so I'm going to bring everybody back by saying select all. Now, remember we put Anne in. We're going to put Anne in again. So we're going to put Anne in exactly the same place. I'm going to right click on row 4. I'm going to choose insert. And I'm going to type Anne. Anne does 40 hours. And Anne's rate is $8.95. Now, as I move out of the cell, watch the formula. See? The formula populates automatically. I don't have to touch anything. Now, at the bottom here, I'm going to add Niall in. And Niall works 28 hours. And Niall gets $8.75, say. Now, again, watch what happens. Do you see? You don't even have to use your fill handle. When your data is formatted as a table, now, regardless of how big the table is or how long it is, your formulas will populate automatically without you physically having to use your fill handle. Now, the other option here on your table. Now, I know I'm trying to run through as much as I can just in the hour so that you get as much from this as possible. Now, I'm currently inside my table here. Now, anything you add within an application, whether it be Word, Excel, PowerPoint, you have what's called an on-demand tab. Now, the on-demand tab will always be at the end of your ribbon. So this tab here relates to the table. So I'm going to click on that tab. Now, let's say I have my table done and I want to see like a subtotal of my totals without me doing a formula. I can put a wee tick. There's a wee tick box there that says total row. See that? Now, my hashes again, all I need to do is widen my columns. So double click between D and E. See the overall total? Isn't that good? Tables are absolutely brilliant. And if any of you, I will offer a little follow-up exercise to this, but if any of you are doing more advanced stuff, tables get very, very important. So that's formatting as a table. Now, I'm going to move now to exercise 8. Now, here we have a spreadsheet. I'm just going to widen that, yeah. Now, if I do a print preview, there's going to be multiple pages in this. Okay. Now, if I look at the very bottom of the screen here, it's telling me I'm on page 1 of 22. Do you see that? There are 22 pages in this. Now, I have headings. Do you notice I have headings on page 1? Now, if I navigate to page 2, just using it at the bottom of the screen, the arrow, have I any headings on page 2, 3, etc.? I have no headings. So if I'm printing that out, okay, I want my headings on all pages. Now, what I'm not going to do, I am not going to physically highlight my headings on page 1, copy and paste them, because they'll end up in the middle of the page when you start inserting rows and deleting rows. So I'm going to come out of the print preview. I'm going to show you a little setting that will automatically apply your headings to print on all pages. So remember we did the grid lines earlier. We did it from the page layout tab. So I'm going to go back to the page layout tab. Now, can you see the command there that says print titles? I'm going to click on the print titles command, and that brings me up my page setup dialog, and it brings me to my sheet tab. Now, do you see where it says rows to repeat at top? If you click inside that little box where it says rows to repeat at top, at this point, I will physically go and highlight the row that I want to repeat, the one that has my headings on it, and that will be row 1. So again, when you're highlighting a row, you click on the row number. I am physically clicking on number 1. And if I OK that, I'm going to do another print preview. Okay, there's my print preview. My headings are in row 1. I'm going to navigate, on page 1. I'm going to navigate to page 2. Notice my headings. You see? Folks, that's really, really useful. So it is. I'm going to press the escape key. Now, I want to do just a couple more things here before we finish off. I'm going to apply my filter to the spreadsheet. So all my headings are on row 1. So I'm going to highlight row 1. I'm going to go to my data tab. I'm going to click on filter. Now that applies the little filter. Remember the little filter arrows that appeared automatically when you format it as a table? That's how you put them on automatic or yourself manually. So I have my filter arrows here. Let's say I want to filter the region column. I only want to see the West region. So I'm going to click on the wee filter arrow to the right of the word region. I'm going to remove the tick where it says select all, and I'm going to choose West and OK that. So that leaves me just all the west regions to see. Now, salesman, I'm only interested in Joseph's. So the filter arrow to the right of salesman, remove the tick where it says select all, and put a little tick where it says Joseph, and okay that. So we have filtered the west, we have filtered Joseph. Now I'm going to go to the net sales column. I'm going to click on the filter arrow for net sales. Now I'm going to leave all this alone this time. Now let's say I only want to see net sales that are above 1800, for example. So filter arrow. Now, do you see where it says number filters? I'm going to say greater than, and in my little box I'm going to type in 1800 and okay that. See? So that's the west, Joseph, and above 1800, and I'm going to filter the month as well. So the filter arrow to the right of month. Now I'm going to look for data between, say, the 1st of April, now what year am I on here? 17. I'm going to say the 1st of April 17 till the 31st of December 17. Is that okay? So click on the filter arrow. This time use the option where it says date filters. I'm going to say between. So, and in the first box I'm going to say 01. Always use slashes. Never ever use dots when you're using dates, okay? 01, 04, or /04 and 17. And then below that, it'll be 31st of the 12th, 17. And okay that. Okay, so I started off with 23 pages of data there, and I have filtered my data right back to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 records. Folks, that's a little taster of Microsoft Excel Foundation. I know I just threw things at you there. Folks, if you would like, I'm happy to do another session with you where I send you the stuff here. You can do that, but there's an awful lot of stuff in Excel just at foundation level that I'd maybe like to do with you. Bring in maybe more functions, show you how to do conditional formatting and a number of things like that. So if you want to, I'm happy to spend the same time this week, which is that'll be the 9th to the 4th, from 7 to 9 or 7 to 8 again, if you want to. So folks, I'm going to leave it at that for tonight, if that's okay. If I could ask you, if you don't mind, to drop me an email and give me your honest feedback. I want honest feedback. Don't be shy. I'm happy to take. And as I say, and just say whether or not you're interested in doing the follow-up. Is that okay? You all happy enough for that? So for now, thank you for joining me on my first ever online training session. And hopefully I'll see you all next week again. Okay, so everybody take care and stay safe, please. All the best. Bye.